Am I the jerk for wanting to break up with my partner because their child is a nightmare? So I, a 34-year-old female, have been dating my boyfriend, a 33-year-old male, for a year. Let me start by saying my boyfriend is amazing. He's loving, affectionate, kind, and compassionate. Basically everything you'd want in a man. But things haven't been so pleasant lately. My boyfriend has a 4-year-old daughter that makes our relationship very difficult. He now has full custody because her mother didn't want to be a parent anymore and just pays child support. His daughter is a piece of work, and that's me being nice. She is very rude. When she walks into a room and everyone speaks to her, she says nothing, acting like she owns the place. She is the most selfish child ever. She would share nothing of hers but would expect everyone to share with her. If no one shared with her, she would throw a ridiculous tantrum. She would scream and cry at the top of her lungs, and it would get so bad that she would hit herself or make herself sick. I have 3 children from my ex-husband, a 14-year-old male, a 10-year-old male, and a 3-year-old female. To say my children dislike her is an understatement. My 3-year-old always shares with his daughter, but one day I got my daughter a very cute American Girl doll. His daughter wanted to play with it, and when my daughter said no, she snatched it from my daughter so hard that she fell. My daughter got up, smacked her, and took her doll back. This caused an argument between me and my boyfriend. He felt like my daughter should apologize, and I told him he was crazy if he thought my daughter should apologize for defending herself against his demon of a child. He never sees anything wrong with her actions. He thinks it's perfectly acceptable behavior for a 4-year-old. One time I cooked dinner, fried chicken, wild rice, and green beans. Nothing special. She threw a tantrum, said she wasn't eating it, and threw the entire plate on the floor. He cleaned it up, told her it was going to be okay, and took her to get a Happy Meal just to stop the tantrum. My breaking point was 2 weeks ago when we took the kids to Great Wolf Lodge for the weekend, seeing how we only lived about an hour away from there. Things started out okay until we took the kids to the pool. My 10-year-old son has Down syndrome and he doesn't know how to swim, so he stays off to the side and does his own thing. His daughter was running around the pool and proceeded to jump on my son's back so hard, he fell in the pool and started to struggle to stay afloat. My 14-year-old son and a lifeguard had to save my son. She was okay because she was wearing a life vest, but she thought my son drowning was hilarious. So I grabbed my kids, went to our room, packed our things, and left him and his daughter there. Once we got home, we packed our things, and we are currently staying with my parents. He's been blowing up my phone, leaving voicemails and sending texts. I sent him one text saying I needed space. He then said I'm an asshole for potentially ending our relationship over an accident. Am I the asshole? This post violates Rule 11, which means any changes to contact levels with partners, friends, family, or acquaintances aren't allowed. For relationship-related issues, check out our AITA Relationships as an alternative. Please review the rules and Rule 11 FAQs before messaging the mods if you want to resubmit your story. If you resubmit without approval, it will lead to a ban. No exceptions. Am I the jerk for not putting in enough effort? I, Anna, a 30-year-old female, have been with my partner, Mark, a 31-year-old male, for about 6 years now. We have lived together in multiple states, and I have moved frequently to support him and his career goals. I am able to work from home, so it is easy for me to move. Things have been tense for the past month. Mark was laid off from his job in December. We figured it would be no time before he would be back in work, but it is now July, and I am fully supporting us. I am lucky that I can, however money is tight and I am starting to eat into savings. Lately, we have been arguing a lot about household duties. I do about 50% of the cooking. He will grill some nights, and on other nights we will do cheap takeaway or just random stuff from the fridge. I am also responsible for cleaning the floors with the Swiffer, the countertops, keeping the house tidy, my laundry, the sheets and towels, the shopping, and one bathroom. His tasks have always been dishes, but only after dinner dishes if we eat together. I try to clean as I cook, and if we eat separately, I wash up my own plate. Vacuuming, trash, his laundry, the guest bathroom, and outside house maintenance. We have someone designated by our landlord who comes and mows, but he will do the weeding and pest control. I admit, I am a bit messy and scatterbrained. I am the queen of leaving something on the table so I don't forget to put it away, and then getting object blindness to it. Our home is never dirty, but our dining room table often has 3 to 5 random things on it. We also have an older dog. If she barks to go out, I will set down what I am doing to let her out into the yard, and then sometimes forget to come back to exactly what I was doing. He has been yelling at me a lot about this, saying I put no effort into this relationship or keeping the house neat, and that he has to constantly mind after me like a child. He never picks up my messes, just tells me about them. I'm getting frustrated because I don't personally feel like it is that bad. I know it is his pet peeve and I am trying, but I'm not perfect. If I leave one thing out after cooking, I will get a nasty text about it when he finds it. I wish he would just put it away as he lives here too, but perhaps that is childish of me. I also feel that since I am currently the only one working, he should be stepping it up instead of binging TV shows on Netflix. He keeps yelling at me for every mistake. I know he is stressed about his job. He is working to find a job, and I know that it is stressful to be unemployed. I know he says that he hates not working and it gets to him, but I feel like I am trying my best, and I know I'm not perfect, but I just don't know how much longer I can take the constant criticism and nasty language. Am I the problem? Am I the asshole? It's understandable that leaving a few things out when you're busy or scatterbrained isn't the end of the world. The issue here is how Mark is handling his stress and unemployment by taking it out on you. Instead of being grateful for your support and understanding, he's channeling his frustrations into being overly critical about the house. Mark needs to snap out of it and realize that berating you for minor things is not only unfair but also unsustainable for your relationship. Am I the jerk for constantly being annoyed at my family for asking for favors? I am a 20-year-old female and a daughter in a Spanish immigrant family with one brother, who is a 24-year-old male. Recently, I graduated college with my bachelor's degree and have moved back home to save up, pay off some student loans, and to study for graduate school entrance exams. My brother moved back home a few months earlier than me for similar reasons. I have already started working again at an old job on the condition with my boss that I could have certain days off to study for the exam. My brother, on the other hand, is also working full-time and on his off days, is constantly out with friends that live more than 1 hour away or working out. Over the past month, I have noticed and started to get annoyed that every single day I am off, my parents will wake me up to give me a verbal list of things they need me to do for them throughout the day. I want to note that I have no issue doing stuff for my parents as they have done so much for our family, and I am not paying rent, but my issue is that it is quite literally every single day. What makes me more annoyed is that I notice they never bother my brother on his off days. Granted, when he is off, he is usually not home but out with friends or at the gym for a really long time. How is that fair? It feels a bit like I am being punished for being home on a day off. They usually don't make me do stuff if they know at least the day before that I am going to be elsewhere, especially early in the day. But how is it fair that I am the one of the two of us who has to do all the favors just because I am home? All my friends still live near our old college town, which is more than 4 hours away from where I live, and my friends from home have moved away, so it's not like I can drop everything every weekend to go visit them like he does. It sometimes feels like I waste my day because then I can't sit down and study like I want to. If I do plan on going out with my limited number of friends that still are here, it has to be delayed so I can do what my parents are asking of me. My parents are not bad parents by any means, and I really do love them, but they are quick to anger and annoy at times. I know that if I deny doing their favors, they will be angry with me and call me ungrateful and spoiled for not doing this small task for them. I can't tell if I am just genuinely frustrated from them constantly asking me to do stuff for them, or if I am just being a brat and am upset about losing my independence that I had in college. Back there, I knew what had to be done constantly and was able to do it on my own time through creating my own schedule. But back home, I don't have this luxury as they will tell me what they need of me the morning of or 20 minutes before it's needed. You are not to blame. It's totally unfair that all household responsibilities fall on you just because your brother isn't home on his days off. Maybe your gender has something to do with it? If your parents won't budge, take your study materials and head to the public library early and stay as long as you need. Am I the jerk for not drinking or partying? I technically own my home since before my husband and I were married because I inherited it from my mother. We have around 15 acres and live in California. Within the last 4 years, my husband met a man who owned a landscaping company. With my permission, my husband agreed to allow him to build a small building on our property to store his tools and park his work trucks in exchange for $500 a month. My husband also gave him the first 6 months free in exchange for building the structure, with the understanding that if he leaves, the building stays behind. Since the man has been here, he has significantly expanded his business. He had 3 work trucks, which have increased to 7, mostly new, along with other construction equipment. I recognize that we are giving him a stellar deal, but my husband disagrees. Every year, when the weather improves, a couple of his employees want to stay here on Friday or Saturday to drink and listen to music, sometimes until 8:00 p.m. I tell my husband I am not comfortable with this and ask him to tell them not to do it, but he does not take action. This year, I went and told the man myself. I walked out my back door and could hear their music blaring. I walked over and saw them splitting a 12-pack of Pacifico beer between 2 people. It was almost 7:00 p.m. on a Friday. I told them that if they were done working for the day, I was not okay with them hanging out at my house and drinking after work. He apologized and said they would be leaving shortly. He also texted my husband, who was at work, and apologized. My husband and I are both night shift nurses, and we have 3 small children ages 1 through 6. When we both work, my 17-year-old stepdaughter comes and stays the night with the children. My husband texted me from work, livid that I made them leave. I found out he had never told them they couldn't drink here because he doesn't have a problem with it and has no safety concerns. I told him that people do not need to be drinking at our house because we don't know them well, and something could happen to us or our children, or they could crash into something. My husband thinks I'm being ridiculous and that he doesn't have a problem with them staying on the property and drinking after work. Am I the asshole? I wouldn't want them doing this even if they were paying me $2,500 a month. The $500 a month they pay doesn't even cover my utility bill, and my husband doesn't give me the money. He either pockets it, does whatever he wants with it, or makes deals with them periodically to work on the property for free. He is concerned that since I said something to the man, he will want to leave or not make deals with him anymore. I don't think I'm the asshole, and I think my husband is being unreasonable. Do you disagree? Why or why not? You are not the cause of this issue. The lease doesn't include occupancy for entertainment purposes and other non-storage activities. Your reasons for sending them away are sound, especially since there's too much liability if someone gets injured. Give them a notarized letter stating the terms for when they can be there and make sure all payments go to you. If they don't like it, they can leave, and if your husband doesn't like it, he can pack up too. Am I the jerk? I don't want to be around my mother-in-law, and I don't want my children around her. Am I being an asshole? I will not leave my 2-year-old and 3-month-old alone with my mother-in-law or father-in-law. I do not enjoy being at their house and visiting, and I would prefer to limit contact to the very bare minimum. She has always disliked me and encouraged my husband to not be with me. However, things escalated when I gave birth. Here are some scenarios I have witnessed when she has been around my children. She gave my 2-year-old a giant bag of marbles to play with until we intervened because they present a choking hazard. She left my 2-year-old alone with an open bottle of hand sanitizer. She let my 2-year-old pick things out of the garden and eat them. One plant she ate was poisonous. She does not support my 3-month-old's head when holding her. She put calamine lotion on nappy rash after I Googled it and told her no. These are just the most recent examples I can think of. She has also sent my husband links to articles that undermine my parenting choices. She sent an article on how bad cocooning is because after her first initial visit with our first, I asked for all visitors to stay away for 2 weeks, which she refused to do anyway and showed up unannounced when I was 6 days postpartum. She also sent an article about perinatal mental health effects on baby to my husband while I was pregnant because I had an argument with her about putting calamine lotion on my toddler after I had said no. When our first was born and was only a week old, she asked my husband if he could take the baby up alone to see her. She got angry when we said no and complained that she also needed to bond with the baby. She has talked negatively about me to my husband's friends' wives and told them to take her side. This has caused so many issues in my relationship with my husband because I would ideally like to go no contact, but my husband takes his mother's side a lot. He thinks I overreact or need to just forgive her. I resent him for it. Opinions? Am I the asshole, or is it okay for me to be distancing myself from my mother-in-law? Your actions don't make you a jerk. Your husband needs to prioritize you and your kids over his mother if he wants a happy marriage and family life. His mom is not their mother and shouldn't be making decisions for your children. Every time she breaks one of your rules, she should face consequences. It's crucial to document every instance of her interference for potential future actions like a restraining order. Am I the jerk? I refuse to share with my siblings. Hello everyone, this is my first time sharing this story. I won't take much of your time, but I need to know what you think about this. I am a 22-year-old male and have suffered all this time because of my family. It got worse when my grandparents left me their house and some money after they passed away 5 years ago. I am the youngest of 4 siblings. Usually the youngest is supposed to be the spoiled one, but not this time. All my life, I was treated like a butler and not a son. Well, not all of it because I was raised by my grandparents since we lived across the street from them, and I was their favorite grandchild. But I don't think that was the reason for my family to treat me the way they did. I was the unwanted child, born 9 years after my siblings, 35-year-old female, 33-year-old female, and 31-year-old male. And they didn't miss a chance to remind me of that. I was always doing all the chores around the house and always forced to take responsibility for their mistakes. I worked on the family farm since I was 12 and got paid by my grandparents and uncles, so I never asked my parents to get me anything because I could afford it myself. Even when I couldn't, my grandparents gave me the rest. In 2016, my grandfather passed away of old age, and in his will, he gave his house to me, the farm to my father and his brothers. He gave other things to the rest of the family. He had one condition. I was not allowed to sell the house or give it to anyone else until my grandmother died, and I would take care of her. I gladly accepted that condition because they took care of me throughout my childhood and gave me the warmth that I needed and raised me to be a strong man, so I saw that condition as a way to pay them back for everything. 3 years later, my grandmother passed away in her sleep. Since she inherited all of my grandfather's money, she divided it between me and one of my cousins, 25-year-old male, because he helped me take my grandmother to her doctor's appointments, cooked food for us, and was there when we needed him, unlike my siblings. After she passed away, the whole family was gathered by my grandparents' lawyer to read the will. They were shocked, thinking that my grandmother would give everything to them because of the sweetheart she was. I heard my mother saying, "At least we got the house, and the money is with our son, so he will share it with the rest of the family." At first, I couldn't believe the entitlement. Then I spoke up for the first time ever and said, "I would rather burn it all than let you, your husband, or any of your horrible children touch it." Am I the asshole for refusing to share what is now mine? The story doesn't end there, but I feel like I took a lot of your time already. I am sorry for the bad English. It is not my native language. You did the right thing. Your grandparents knew exactly what they were doing when they wrote their wills. They saw how horrible your family was and made sure you'd have the resources to build a beautiful life without them. It would be an insult to your grandparents' last wishes to share the money with these people who never had your back. Take the gift they left you and don't look back with a single drop of guilt. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.